Hello everyone, you're very welcome to our third New European Bauhaus session. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We are going to begin shortly. We're just going to give it a few seconds for everyone to join in. Okay, as I said, we're just about to start. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them into the Q&A, and the session is being recorded. But for now, I'm going to pass over to you, Rosemary.
Thank you, Shauna. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our third New European Bauhaus Information webinar. I hope you all had a lovely socially distanced St. Patrick's Day and really took advantage of the beautiful weather yesterday. Ireland really did look at its best. My name is Rosemary Steen, and I am the CEO of the Design and Crafts Council of Ireland. Let me introduce our partners in this webinar. Natalie Wadick, the Director of the Irish Architecture Foundation. Natalie, if you want to turn on your camera, just say hello to everybody. Great, thank you. And Charlotte Barker, CEO of the Institute of Designers in Ireland. There's Charlotte. Good morning, Charlotte. It is wonderful to have two strong design-led partners working with us on this project. So just to give you a little bit of background, the new European Bauhaus could be a defining opportunity for us in Ireland, in that not only does it seek to deliver carbon neutrality and to renovate 35 million buildings across the European Union by 2030, it also seeks to combine sustainability with great design. When we heard Ursula von der Leyen say the necessary can also be beautiful, we were really interested in this project. As lead organisations who know about the value of great design, we in DCCI, the IAF and the IDI felt it was important to promote and inform other Irish stakeholders of the new European Bauhaus initiative. And to that end, we organised these information webinars. We are delighted with the response to the webinar series, with over 350 registrations to date and over 200 attendees at the 3 sessions. For these webinars, we wanted to achieve a number of things. One, we wanted to share with you how the new European Bauhaus is different in both aspiration and methodology from other initiatives brought forward by the European Commission. For the first time in this project, design as an aesthetic and design as a process are core to the initiative from the start. 2, we wanted to share with you some examples of projects already happening in Ireland that might inspire you as you consider your own Stage 1 submission. 3, we wanted to introduce you to the new European Bauhaus website portal so that you can progress your own involvement by submitting your ideas and examples and suggestions as to what the new European Bauhaus might look like in practice. This stage is simple but important, as it is from these submissions that the European Commission will develop its call later this year. Unfortunately, since this initiative was launched, there haven't been many submissions from Ireland, but we hope that that will all change over the past 3 webinars. And finally, 4, in addition to submitting your own ideas, examples and challenges, we wanted to invite you to a co-design workshop on the 26th of March, where we will make a joint Stage 1 submission. If you're interested in being part of this joint submission, then join us on the 26th of March. You can register your interest to attend when you complete the short survey that we will send you directly after this webinar today. As I said at the beginning, this initiative is currently in its early co-design Stage 1 phase, where the European Commission, through submissions we make, is collecting data on the ideas, examples and suggestions of what the new European Bauhaus could look like in practice. This is a unique process, never before undertaken in the European Union, and as such, it presents a major opportunity to deliver a green future for Ireland and Europe, but in a way that is design-led and focused. For the first time in its history, the European Union is developing its policy to deliver carbon neutrality using a process of co-design, which seeks to bring together knowledge, insight and perspective from different sectors, much like the group that we have on the webinar here today, from science and technology, architecture and business, innovation and design, and asks us as EU citizens to shape the future. In addition to supporting the delivery of carbon neutrality, the new European Bauhaus presents a range of additional opportunities for Irish stakeholders, including learning about possible European funding for delivery, European and international networking, and learning in regard to our partners at a European level, sustainable development, job creation, and the opportunity for us all to enhance Ireland's reputation as a design leader. This represents a very important opportunity for Ireland, and we are delighted that you are with us here today. Apologies. You may have questions. We did when we first heard about this initiative. And so we have allowed time at the end of this webinar for this. Our moderator, Shauna, has asked that you might pop your questions in the Q&A section on the bottom right of your screen, and we will get to them at the end of the webinar. But of course, if there are any further direct questions after the webinar, you can contact our European manager, Dr. Nicola Tomic, with them. And we will close with a slide with Nicola's contact details and also post them in the chat function. Just a quick note to say that this webinar is also being recorded, and we will be posting it on our website as part of our awareness raising campaign. This is a wonderful opportunity for Ireland, and we look forward to working with you on this co-design journey. I'd now like to introduce Natalie Wadick, who is the Director of the Irish Architecture Foundation, an organisation committed to communicating the culture of architecture and design. And she's going to present some examples of the work we found very inspirational that they are aware of and that we feel connect with the spirit of the new European Bauhaus. Thank you. Over to you, Natalie.
Thanks, Rosemary. Good morning, everyone. It's exciting to be here with you all on this call to start a conversation about something that could be really transformative. 100 years ago, the Bauhaus was seen as a movement for social justice, for democratic design, where every individual has access to not just the utilitarian aspects of society, but also the pleasures and beauties of living. So given that the Bauhaus was not only an aesthetic movement, but also a social mobilization for recreating society, it seems apt that the EU is reviving its spirit now at a time of recuperation as a symbol of a new positive and progressive age. At the IF, we always think of architecture as a kind of social craft, creating the physical and social frameworks and spaces necessary for bringing people together. So as Rosemary said, I'm now going to show you a few examples of projects by us and by others that maybe will inspire you to connect and engage with the new European Bauhaus. Next slide, please. A recent project I want to share with you, an IF project, is the Ballyfermot BMX Skate Park. Ballyfermot Youth Services wanted to create a BMX park, and their vision was that it would be the best it can be for them and for the local community. We asked if we could help them realise their vision and to give them more by design playing a central role in the process. We got a philanthropist on board to fund the community facilitation, which comprised of a series of workshops facilitated by architects, by artists, by landscape designers, botanists, play experts and historians. By the end, the creative experts engaged with over 2,000 participants directly in a workshop setting, from mother and baby groups to youth groups to active age. Dublin City Council, a very important partner, provided the site and the funding to build this amazing park. It was a partnership with a local authority, an architecture and design team, and a local community with a vision. In relation to impact, I want to give the last word to Jerry here in this photo when he said, and I quote, "This is absolutely a dream come true. I still have to pinch myself in the morning when I come down here just to see if it is actually real, because I feel like I have not woken up yet." New slide, please, Nicola. Another project I want to tell you about, which is a powerful collective movement and an historic milestone in Irish design history, is the Pivot Dublin project. It was born out of Dublin's bid for the World Design Capital in 2014. The bid was led by city architect Ali Grehan and her team, and was a collaboration between the local authorities of Dublin City and counties. Pivot was driven by the belief that cities that use design as a tool to think, to act, and to react become better cities. The bid was submitted. Dublin Cape Town and Bilbao were shortlisted out of 56 applicants, and Cape Town won the designation. So even though Dublin did not win, the process of revealing and liberating what design can do was not wasted. Pivot is an ongoing influential force amongst us in the community. New slide, please. Here's a slide of some of the participants in the Pivot movement. Pivot Dublin connected design to community by valuing and cultivating a national and international network, by inspiring a culture of interdisciplinary collaboration, translating ideas to action through projects. New slide, please. The aftermath is very interesting. The bid preparation and aftermath established Pivot as a focus for design initiatives and created a resurgence of interest in design. Pivot Dublin successfully communicated that design matters and enriches our social, economic and cultural lives. These are the very values echoed here today in relation to the new European Bauhaus. We know we can do this. New slide, please. I just want to move out of Dublin now. I want to tell you about a project in Callan that is exceptional, the Bridge Street project. It is coordinated by the Workhouse Union. The Workhouse Union works with artists, designers, architects and craftspeople to develop projects examining housing, civic infrastructure and the commons, engaging people with the spaces and places where we live. The Bridge Street project was a collective reimagining of Bridge Street Upper as a public space with a civic future. The project developed through an interdisciplinary collaboration between theatre and architecture practitioners, between local government and business owners, and the wider community of Callan. Alongside the site-specific theatre led by Asylum Productions in collaboration with the Abbey Theatre, Workhouse Union developed a courtyard screen at Fennelly Shop with London-based studio Weave. The purpose of these creative tactical interventions was to engage with the built environment of Callan, its stories, its people and places. Why do this? Bridge Street is now the focus of extensive County Council-led renewal of the street and the core of the town, including the Town Centre Living Initiative, a governmental pilot scheme to develop innovative solutions to vacancy and underuse. New slide, please. I love this project. The Burren Winteridge Weekend in the Burren is a community-led initiative that is coordinated by the Burren Bio Trust. The Burren Bio Trust is a landscape charity dedicated to connecting all of us to our places and our role in caring for them. This image is an event at the Winteridge Festival. Attendees and locals are herding the cattle to the limestone uplands where they will spend the winter grazing. The Winteridge tradition began hundreds of years ago and marks the end of summer. The Burren Winteridge Weekend celebrates tradition, but from a contemporary context. It is an innovative learning and networking event for those interested in farming for nature, seeking to explore and promote ways to make a living from the land whilst also making a positive contribution to addressing our global diversity crisis. And why is this important? Because the continuation of these age-old systems creates a better environment for locals and visitors to enjoy. Initiatives like this support a burgeoning ecotourism industry and contribute greatly to the Burren's emerging identity as a learning landscape. So in conclusion, these are just snippets. These are examples that prove that by local government, businesses and communities coming together, we can easily build the structures necessary to carry us through to a creative, inclusive future that serves the needs of society and the planet. I now pass you over to Charlotte Barker, who is Chief Executive of the Institute of Designers in Ireland, which is the industry association of professional Irish designers, who has further examples of great projects relevant to the new European Bauhaus. Thanks very much. Charlotte, over to you.
Thank you, Natalie. Good morning, everybody. This is one of the most exciting and truly pan-European initiatives I think I've ever seen in design. And I think we have a fantastic opportunity now to really make our mark and prove what the island of Ireland can do. As IDI is a member of BEDA, the Bureau of European Design Agencies, I've been fortunate enough to attend recent discussions to understand more about the challenges and approaches that are being taken in other countries. It's clear that we have a real opportunity to challenge our own thinking, challenge the restrictions that hamper progress, and find some really divergent thinking that can have an impact both here and abroad. The first example I'd like to share with you is a great example of how inclusion can lead to sustainability, two of the core objectives of the new European Bauhaus. The big idea is a program for transition year students, challenging big, local and global change through creativity. Developed by creative experts and bridging the gap between industry and education with leading industry experts, the big idea is fully cross-curricular, hitting every learning outcome and key skill required in transition year. Challenges posed to the students include issues such as, what big idea would inspire teenagers to use wearable technology to move more? Or what big idea would make living at home safer and easier for our elderly? What big idea would create low-cost housing in our towns and villages? Designed for all learning abilities, the program allows students to gain new skills, interact with industry leaders, connect learning from many subjects, and gain confidence in tackling the biggest challenges in the world, applying the principles of universal design. The program is now live with over 500 students across Ireland and over 6,000 students on the waiting list for 2022. The IDI are really proud to support the program alongside the Design and Crafts Council, Creative Ireland, the Centre for Excellence in Universal Design, and more. And I know that if further funding can be secured, there's no reason why this shouldn't be an ongoing program. This is an amazing example of inclusion impacting sustainability and how a creative mindset can empower a generation with the skills needed to achieve a lasting impact on local and global communities. And secondly, the Homes for Smart Aging Universal Design Challenge. What's interesting about this example is it proves both the power of competition and of collaboration to arrive at a solution that's incredibly inclusive and sustainable. The Homes for Smart Aging Universal Design Challenge in 2017 was a call for ideas in the same ilk as the New European Bauhaus to improve the quality of life for older people in Ireland. Based on a universal design approach, the ideas would help create communities and homes purpose-built for lifetime living. By promoting ideas that demonstrate innovation in design, the challenge hoped not only to improve the quality of life for older people, but ultimately for everyone. Initiated by the Department of Housing, Planning and Local Government and led by the Centre for Excellence in Universal Design along with other partners, the challenge was launched in January 2017, encouraging innovation when designing and delivering housing solutions for older people, simultaneously implementing Irish government initiatives under the Rebuilding Ireland and Smart Ageing action plans. After shortlisting to 5 commended entries and funding further development of the ideas, the winner of the top prize of €50,000 was awarded in June of 2017. The winning idea was the Awalia project, founded by Michelle Moore to meet the needs of Ireland's ageing population balanced against the backdrop of a severe housing shortage. With a team including architects Dermot Bannon, Kieran Ferry and Olivia Golden, the project developed an innovative solution to carve out much needed one-bedroom rental capacity from existing housing stock in mature urban areas. The Awalia project supports homeowners to configure their 2-storey house, future-proofing the garden level by creating an independent living area suitable for the older homeowners, which eliminates the need to use the stairs, and creating an affordable single occupancy one-bedroomed rental unit upstairs. This allows the homeowner to live securely and independently downstairs while promoting interaction with the person living upstairs, thereby reducing isolation. By looking at the issue through the lens of older homeowners, instead of suggesting they should just move out of their homes and into retirement housing, the Awalia project promotes an efficient way to use our existing housing stock. Happily, the Awalia project has become Ava Housing, continuing to develop the programme today. Our ageing population is growing, and it's through innovative schemes such as this that an overarching philosophy will begin to emerge about long-term thinking in construction and community development. With just these examples that Natalie and I have shared today, we hope that you're inspired to challenge your own thinking as to what aesthetic, sustainable, and inclusive design can look like, and how we might begin to develop ideas to contribute to the new European Bauhaus. So what do you need to do next? I will hand over to Dr. Nicola Tomic, European Programme Project Manager for the Design and Crafts Council of Ireland, who will talk you through the process.
Thank you, Charlotte. So we've heard some amazing examples of what Ireland already has to offer, but what exactly is the next step? And what is the new European Bauhaus looking at the moment? What exactly does it do and how does it work? So the new European Bauhaus initiative is at its first stage, the design stage. At the moment, the European Commission and the new European Bauhaus team at the European Commission is accepting submissions to their website. The submissions are basically stories, examples similar to this one, but also ideas or challenges that the new European Bauhaus movement might encounter. And the Commission team wants these submissions so they can analyze the data and formulate calls that will then lead to the delivery stage after the summer of this year. The calls will be for funded projects, initially 5 pilot projects, which will run over the next 2 to 3 years. And with those pilot projects, the European Commission will then be able to show what the new European Bauhaus initiative can do. And this would lead into the third phase of the initiative, which is dissemination. It is my personal opinion that dissemination has already started, since we're talking about this already. But I think it is important to understand that the design phase is the phase where this initiative will take shape. And how does this work? At the moment, the New European Bauhaus initiative is just a website, but it's also the participation and a network of contributors. So the website, the link you will obviously find here, if you click on the website, what we are hoping that all of you will do today is read the materials on the website. It is very transparent, but most importantly, by the end of March, beginning of April, the latest, we would like you to click on share examples, ideas, and challenges. We would like everyone from Ireland to submit their ideas, examples, and challenges into the European Commission website. Once you click on that link, you will get a description of what the European Commission wants to see. So they want to see examples. They'd like to see ideas. Ideas can be as idealistic and utopian and far-fetched as you wish. So there is no wrong answers. The European Commission team will moderate the submission, so they will not allow hate speech and anything like that. But if you have ideas that you haven't seen in real life, this is where you can submit them. And you should tell the European Commission what you want this initiative to look like. And finally, they want to hear some of the challenges and the needs for these submissions to come true, some of these ideas, for example. So once you click on this yellow link, you need to understand that this is a very short process. The submission form is 4 pages. This isn't an application for a project. This isn't a typical European Union call where you need to submit pages and pages of document text. This is just a questionnaire. And the questionnaire looks like this. So the first page, you will be greeted by a data protection acknowledgement page where you need to just approve it. And then the first page, you will have a text box where you will paste or type in your example, idea, or challenge and answer a few questions, like would you add a picture to your example, idea, or challenge? Would you like to have a link? Where is it located? And so on. Then you will get a set of questions with multiple choices to describe your example. And they will use these are basically keywords that they will use in their analysis. Who initiated the example? Who is it for? What is its lifespan? And who are the target audiences? And then after that, you will get to slide these dots that you can see within a triad of 3 categories and position your example, idea, or challenge between those 3 categories. And similarly, you will move your dot along an axis between 2 extremes. By doing this, you position your example within these categories. So the kind of qualitative analysis of the data is done by you. And finally, you have to answer some questions about yourself, your social media profile, your name, your role, affiliation, etc. And you then acknowledge again the use of the data that you submitted. Now, the European Commission has already received between 300 and 400 submissions across the whole continent. But they released only preliminary data here under View All Contributions in February 12th. So the data that they show and that you're watching now is data submitted by February 12th. And this is what they see after they analyze the data. This is what they get. So they get word clouds, and the bigger the word, the more mentions in the submissions the word has. But we're not going to go into detail with these slides, but this is just for you to understand what the European Commission will see once they collect all the submissions. Here, they will identify clusters. So your dot that you have been sliding in the triangle or along the axis, when it's aggregated, they will get these intense red clusters, and that is what they will know the initiative is about. So every participant in this co-design phase will tell the European Commission what the initiative should be. And based on that, the European Commission team will decide what the calls will be. And after the calls are announced, any project proposal will be likely successful if they fall within the parameters of the co-design phase. So this is important, that the co-design phase gets a lot of participants from Ireland if Irish stakeholders plan to submit later project proposals. So you are now at this stage influencing and shaping the call for the proposal. So it's really important that you participate now, so then the call matches what you expected and what you submitted. This is statistical data from February 12th, so this might have changed, but I just wanted to point out that Ireland, by then, out of 80 submissions, has only submitted 2 examples. Out of 48 ideas, submitted 4 ideas, and out of 14 total challenges, submitted 1 challenge. And yes, Ireland might be smaller than some of the leaders on this board, like Germany or Spain or Italy, but it's also lagging behind smaller countries like the Netherlands and Belgium. So hopefully, after you've been inspired by this, you will go and change these numbers. And they might have already changed, but we'd like to make sure that Ireland is leading on this board. So what are you going to do? I'll let Terry tell you exactly.
Good morning, all. So it's a very exciting opportunity for Ireland. Sustainability with design as a methodology and design as an aesthetic. So what are we asking you to do? Well, next slide, Nicola. There are 3 calls to action. So we've had 3 webinar series now. As we said at the top, we've recorded all those webinars. So over the last number of weeks, we have shared 15 different examples for you or your network to be inspired. So please do share the webinar series and share information on the new European Bauhaus website. We're asking you to make your own submission. As Nicola pointed out, Ireland hasn't been doing very well in terms of its submissions to the website. So we'd like that to change. So please do, it's only a 4-page application, make your submission to New European Bauhaus. And then the last call to action is come with us and be part of a co-design workshop, which we are organising for the 26th of March with the aim to make a joint submission. And so at the end of this webinar, we'll be sending out a survey, and the details on the co-design workshop are in that survey. So please do register for that if you're interested in being part of the co-design workshop. Now, I think we're going to take some questions and answers. So if you have any questions and answers, we're here to clarify some things.
Thanks, Terry. I don't see any questions at the moment in the Q&A, but again, if you have any, please do add them into there. But I just wanted to start off, Nicola, I know there was a couple of questions people had from the previous webinars that you'd looked into further. So maybe you want to start with that?
Thanks, Shauna. Yes, one of the questions that I feel I didn't answer properly because I just simply didn't know, there was a question on intellectual property. So if someone has an idea and they submit this to the European Commission, how will that be protected, and who guarantees them that the idea won't be stolen? What I answered before, and I will say again, is that all the data will be protected by the European Commission and GDPR. But in terms of intellectual property, it's going to be submitted under a Creative Commons 4.0 license, which means that they will protect the intellectual property under that license. So unfortunately, anyone can share it, but under the terms of the license, they have to attribute the credit. So they cannot, quote unquote, steal the idea. They have to quote the original source. And they also are not allowed to make any new technical or legal changes which make it impossible to share the idea further. So it's a Creative Commons license that protects the intellectual property. But also the European Commission would then, anytime it promotes this, would agree to the terms of the license. So the European Commission will give credit to the original submitter of the idea. And then there were questions about the budget. And maybe it wasn't clear enough last time, but there is no budget for the new European Bauhaus, as in there's several financial instruments and programs in the new European budget, 21-27, but the new European Bauhaus hasn't earmarked any funds from those programs. This is still being debated, but also the new European Bauhaus team is still in the co-design phase. So they don't know what exactly the initiative will be. And that's why they don't know on what door to knock and who to ask money for. But from what we know already, a big part of the budget for the new European Bauhaus will be from the Next Generation Fund. A lot of the Next Generation Fund, most of it is focusing on recovery and resilience from COVID-19. Another priority will be funding or introducing cohesion funds to the new European Bauhaus. So the new European Bauhaus will cross a lot of the European existing programs, and hopefully there will be money from all those financial instruments for the new European Bauhaus. But at the moment, there is no budget. So we don't know how big this initiative will be. It all depends on how the co-design process goes. That said, I repeat what I said before, the more submissions from Ireland, the more likely that the calls for actions will match the demands of the country. So we don't know. Our call now, our call for action now is make a submission and wait. The website of the new European Bauhaus is constantly changing, so I do encourage you to bookmark it like I have and visit it every week and see what's new on there.
Thanks, Nicola. And a few questions have come in. First one is there just one workshop happening on the 26th, or is there any others planned?
We have had a big interest in these workshops. So at the moment, we only plan the one. But if there is a real high demand after that workshop and we get emails saying, we're sorry we missed it, or we changed our mind, we'd like to participate, there is maybe an option of organizing another one. But we're also aware of the timing. So the submission should be done by the end of March. There might be an extension for April by the European Commission team officially, but at the moment they said end of March, so we shouldn't have too many workshops because we need to make those submissions. So we will take into account everything, but at the moment it's just the one workshop.
Great, and then we have two questions that actually kind of seem to feed in to each other. One is there anything that they should prepare, any ideas or sketches or text for the 26th in advance of the workshop? And the other question that feeds into that is if they should discuss ideas with you in advance of the workshop, or maybe they should just go on and submit themselves.
Well, my first reaction, but I'm sure some of our co-partners will have an answer as well. I think the best preparation is to learn about the European Bauhaus from their website and their social media. In terms of sharing their ideas ahead of the event, that might influence us and the facilitators of the event. So I don't know, Charlotte, Natalie, Terry, what do you think? Would that go against co-design rules?
So I suppose this is different somewhat from others. It's not like an application form that you're submitting. This is data collection on behalf of the EU. That's why this is different. They're collecting data from all of us who are interested in a sustainable future led by design. And on the back of what we submit as a country, the call will reflect the ideas and challenges that we submit. So it's data collection. So the workshop is just one way of submitting the data, but please don't feel it's the only way. Please go ahead and make your own short submissions. There are 3, your examples, your challenges, and your, what's the third? Examples, challenges, and
Ideas.
Yeah. Great. And I think that's
just to add to that, I think what we would really hope out of the co-design workshop also is that we start to build interested parties. We start to build relationships across our organizations. I think with the examples that Natalie and I have shown you today, it's really clear the power of collaboration. So while this is a mechanism to provide ideas to the EU and to get some new ideas happening across the whole of Europe, we have an opportunity here to build a network and a community of people within Ireland who are prepared to work closely together, share ideas, and then we can see where we go from here.
Great, and I think that really feeds well into the next question, which is, can you submit more than one idea? And as Terry said, yes, there's challenges, ideas, and examples that can all be uploaded onto the website. It's very easy for everyone to go in and do that. So please do feel free to go in and put in as many ideas and examples as you wish. For the 26th workshop, Nicola, someone is just asking, can the joint submission draw the themes together in an integrated suggestion? So how do you foresee that looking?
Yes, so depending on the number of participants in the end, so we are still collecting the names, and we're still organizing the participation list for the workshop, but we are hoping to get not just one joint idea, but maybe several, and all of them can be submitted. So just a follow-up to what Shauna just said earlier, the European Commission doesn't mind repetition. So if you have an idea that is the same as someone else's, so for example, after the workshop, X number of participants, we will all submit the same idea. That is not a problem. So duplication is fine as long as you write in your submission why that matters to you. So you should personalize the submission, even though the bulk of the text will be similar to the other participants in the workshop, but you should also personalize why this matters to you and reflect on it. Similarly, if you already find an example that is from another country even, you can say, I really like this idea, I'd like this to happen, why does it matter to me? So numbers are, the greater the better. Duplication is not a problem as long as you personalize it and say why it matters to you.
And if I could just quickly add, I think it's important, look, this is a unique process that hasn't been done before. So obviously we're all learning, but if people do come prepared, what we might try and do is break it down under a number of themes and see how many submissions people are interested in under particular themes, or, so that we can try and group. I mean, as many of you will know from dealing with the European Commission, it's a very important way of us guiding the interest from Ireland. So it's well worth participating and bringing your ideas forward, because just the fact that there's a high level of interest from Ireland in itself will move the discussion in terms of Ireland's interests in the call. So it's important that that is an aspect. So we're really encouraging participation for that workshop.
Yeah,
thanks all. One other question is, how does this compare to the European Green Deal calls? I'm not sure if you're aware of those, Nicola, or if anyone else is.
So the new European Bauhaus is accompanying the European Green Deal. and other strategies associated with the European Green Deal, among others, the renovation wave. But it isn't just about buildings and carbon and carbon neutrality. It is also about a cultural movement. So the European Bauhaus initiative is going to, its aim is to change people's mindsets. It's not just about meeting those targets. It's about making it aesthetically pleasing and inclusive and improving people's lives. So what has been done before is the European Commission at those climate conferences would agree and negotiate targets with other countries, with other areas of the world. And they would have these targets and they would impose it on its member states. And then the member states would implement this into their legislation. And then the ordinary people would just have to go with it. If you want to renovate a home these days, you have to make sure that your energy rating is improving and things like that. So it's very much from the top. And the European Bauhaus initiative is giving the chance that this becomes a bottom-up approach. So my opinion is that the European Union and the European Commission has learned from its past quote-unquote mistakes. If this is not inclusive and not owned by the people, it will progress much slower. So that is why the European Bauhaus is more than just a strategy and a policy. It's supposed to be a cultural movement.
Thanks, Nicola. And someone else is just also asking if how they join or register for the workshop on the 26th. And as you mentioned earlier on, there will be a survey going out directly after the webinar finishes. There'll be an email link and it will also pop up on your screen, and information on that session is there. Isn't that right, Nicola?
There will be a questionnaire, and one of the questions will be if you're interested in the workshop. And this is now being done through Zoom, so we will have your email. But if anyone from the last session, the survey was a Google form. If they didn't leave their email, I'd ask them to leave their email. So we need your emails and just basically a simple expression of yes or no if you're interested in participating. And then we're still finalizing the event. So early next week, hopefully we will prepare all the materials, and you will all get invited. If we have too many numbers, we might need to do a short list. So we're hoping to include as many as possible.
Yes, and just to explain as well, obviously, because that's going to be where we're putting together an on the record submission, it won't be possible for people who wish to remain anonymous. If they wish to participate and contribute, then we will require kind of details so that we can have that verified so that they can be a participant. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rosemary. And I think actually, Nicola, if you were able to go back a couple of slides to where this is, but someone just asking, is it possible to see what types of submissions have already been applied or into the program? And I think you had
Yes.
Contributions slide. There you go.
So it is on the website, and under the link co-design and then view all contributions. The European Commission doesn't post all of them, so they do moderate and pick some of the best. But yeah, there's 300 to 400 submissions depending on category so far, but there is maybe up to 20 examples that they shared. But they are inspirational. Some of them are very much there. I don't know if there's any from Ireland at the moment, but a good few of them could be reproduced in Ireland. So if they inspire you, you can use those examples and turn them into an idea.
Fantastic. And then if you're okay to go back to your last slide, I think that's really helpful for anyone who maybe wants to get in touch with you directly or has further questions. They're asking where to send the email. Your details are on that last slide. That's
right. That's my email. And there, obviously, you should follow the European Bauhaus website. It's a great resource. If you want to get engaged, there's other opportunities. None of them are financial at the moment, but you can become a partner of the European Bauhaus team. and you can organize events like this, and they do provide some toolkits and advice on how to organize events. So it's a really great resource if you want to get involved. And here you can also see some of our social media accounts, so you can follow our accounts there. And of course, the European Bauhaus social media, which I didn't put on this slide.
Thanks, Nicola. Thanks. Well, I think that's it in terms of all the questions. As I said, Nicola has shared that last slide and the details are there. If there's anything else you want to get in touch with him directly, please feel free to email. Unless anyone in the panel has anything to add. No, I think that's good. Oh, one last question, sorry, Nicola, before we finish up is, a question is, are there any plans to link in with community partners? And actually, I might get back to this person directly, so that's no problem. We'll actually leave that because it's more of a direct question.
I'm not quite sure what community partners.
That's no problem. I can deal with that.
Okay.
So I think that's everything.
Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone, and please do get in touch with me or anyone that you see here on the screen. But any technical questions, any questions like that, I do encourage to contact me. Our other co-hosts are very busy people, so I'm going to reply to all your questions. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you have a really good day.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.